Hello students, the strange case of Britain after the unification of Germany, after the unification of Italy. The next topic, see NCERT page number 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 also. So contain all these topics which we are doing today. After the unification of Italy, the next and a very important as well as strange, that is the strange case of Britain. Because why I am telling you that it was an important event and it was a strange case, because there was a common phenomena that Britain had colonies, no doubt. Britain was very powerful, its navy was very powerful, its military was very powerful, as well as we all know that the first industrial revolution took place in Britain. So even then Britain was not a nation state up to 1801. It was after 1801 AD Britain emerged as a nation state. So it was a strange case. So the question comes like this, that why Britain was not a nation state up to 1801 AD, or why Britain becoming a strange case, becoming a nation state was a strange case, or how Britain became a nation state. So these topics are there today. So first of all, why Britain was not a nation state up to 1801. In fact, in the British Island, it's an island nation, Britain. And the way, the model of Britain becoming a nation state was really a strange case for the rest of Europe. British Islands, they were inhabited by British, the English speaking people, the Scottish, the Irish and the Welsh. So they had their own autonomous bodies and they spoke different language. Scottish, Irish, Welsh, they had their own culture, their own cultural institutions. So Britain did not exist as a nation state. Then it was a strange case, because Britain, when it became a nation state, it was neither the result of a revolution nor the result of a war. As we have seen in German unification, there was struggle, there was war. In Italian unification, in the previous lecture, we have read that there was a war, bloodshed, revolution. But Britain becoming a nation state presents us a strange case, because it was neither the result of a war nor the result of a revolution. It was actually a long drawn out process. It was a very long drawn out process in stages in which Britain emerged as a nation state. So in 1688 there was a glorious revolution in Britain. Why glorious? Because it is said that nobody was killed in the revolution. So it was a glorious revolution, and actually it was a protracted conflict between the monarch and the parliamentary forces. Monarch here means the monarch who was ruling over Britain, and parliamentary forces here means the citizens, people who wanted that monarch should act as a constitutional monarch and with the parliament. So it was a protracted conflict, and in 1688 this glorious revolution came to an end. And after the end of this revolution, who won the protracted conflict? It was the people, that is the parliamentary forces, they won. As a result, parliament was formed in Britain, subjected to a monarch, and in 1707 parliament met. There was a meeting of the parliament. Your 1 mark question, 1707. Parliament met and the Act of Union was passed, declaring Britain as the United Kingdom of Great Britain. United Kingdom of Great Britain. It was declared as Britain, as UK, United Kingdom of Great Britain. And the Act of Union was signed with Scotland, with the Scottish people. Here I must tell you that England is predominantly a Protestant country, and in Scotland also there was Protestants plus a few Catholics also. So when Scotland was merged into the British Kingdom, Act of Union was signed with Scotland, which meant that Scottish lost their identity. All the English culture was imposed on the people of Scotland. They were not even allowed to wear their national dress or speak their Gaelic language. English language was imposed on them, and one after another, in the stages, all the English culture was imposed. However, Catholics were suppressed everywhere. Wherever Catholics, they wanted that, because they knew that Britain is a predominantly Protestant country. So wherever Catholics revolted or wherever Catholics resented, Protestants were openly given the right to suppress them. And as a result, Scotland became a part of the British Kingdom. All the English culture was imposed on the Scottish. Correct? The second one was Ireland. And in Ireland, the story goes like this. Ireland is a country which is sharply divided between Catholics and Protestants. And if at that time you are a Catholic of Ireland, you tend to be poor and discriminated, which means that Catholics tend to be poor and discriminated in Ireland. In your syllabus of democratic politics, there is a reference that even there was a war between Catholics and Protestants because they were sided by rival political parties. So this situation was going on in Ireland. So when Ireland was asked to join the Act of Union, to sign the Act of Union and be a part of the United Kingdom of Great Britain, they refused, particularly the Catholics. The reason? Britain being a Protestant country. So there was a failed revolt by Wolfe Tone. Wolfe Tone, one mark question, the Irish Highlander. He organized all the Catholic Highlanders and there was a revolt against the British domination that we will not join Act of Union, we will not be a part of United Kingdom. And it was a failed revolt actually. This revolt was brutally suppressed and Irish were forcibly made to sign the Act of Union, forcibly. They were made a part of UK, United Kingdom. All the English culture was imposed on the Irish. They had to speak English language. They had to salute the British flag, their Union Jack. And they had to sing the national anthem of Britain, that is, God Save Our Noble King. One after another, all the English culture was imposed on the Irish. Catholic revolts, wherever they raised their heads in revolt, they were suppressed. And in 1801, finally, Britain emerged as a nation state with Scotland and Ireland its part. And Welsh automatically surrendered and they adopted the English culture. So that is why Britain becoming a nation state was a strange case. If we compare this story with the stories of French Revolution, unification of Germany that we did in the previous lecture, unification of Italy, the story is totally different in Britain. Strange because Britain was growing in wealth and power, but even then it was not a nation state. Why it was not a nation state? Because it was inhabited by different groups, different culture, different ethnic groups. We discussed just now Scottish, Irish and Welsh. Then strange case because it was neither the result of a war nor the result of a revolution. A protracted conflict between the monarch and monarchy, that is monarch, and the parliamentary forces, that is people. 1688 glorious revolution came to an end. As a result, parliamentary forces won. Parliament was formed. Britain was declared as a UK, United Kingdom of Great Britain. Act of Union was passed, signed with Scotland. Scotland became a part of the British Kingdom, and finally forcibly Ireland was incorporated into the British Kingdom, aligned with the British Kingdom, and Britain emerged as a nation state finally in 1801. So this is your 5 marks topic. Do it very carefully, do it in stages and in points. Our next topic is visualizing the nation. It is very easy to portray a person, to portray a leader whom we knew. Like it is easy to make the portraits of Mahatma Gandhi, it is easy to make the portraits of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and so on. Those who were live people. It is easy to portray them. It is easy to make their statues. It is easy to make their pictures, paintings, etc. But how come people give shape or give an image of the idea which is abstract? For example, in the beginning of the chapter, on the first page, figure 1.1, we studied about Statue of Liberty. Liberty is not a woman in real life. Liberty is an abstract idea, but it was personified. Telling people that liberty will give you, when you are there is liberty, all the absolute institutions will be over, because she stands on the shattered remains of the absolute institution. She is holding a torch of enlightenment, that is knowledge, enlightenment, science and reason. In other hand, she is holding the revolutionary document, rights of men. So liberty will give you so many things. So that was visualized. So I was telling you that it is fairly easy to give shape to those people who were alive, whom we have seen. But how could we give shape to the things which are abstract? But the artists of the 19th century did it. They did all this. They gave shape to the abstract things also. So we come through the allegories, the concept of allegories. This is asked in examination. What is allegory? So personification of an abstract idea is called allegory. When we personify abstract ideas, air, water, nation, liberty, freedom, bravery, courage, when we give them shape, personification of abstract ideas, this is known as allegories. For example, when there was a process of German unification, they produced an image, that is Germania. She is a beautiful lady, very strong, very beautiful, wearing a crown of oak leaves, because oak stands for heroism, bravery in Germany. Behind Germania, there are rays of rising sun. So these are some icons and symbols that were adopted. Rays of rising sun meant new era, a new period, a new era. Then it has been shown that there is a bunch of olive branches. Olive branches stood for readiness to peace. Then a flag that Germania holds, red, golden and yellow. That is the flag of liberal hopes. Germania is also shown bearing a sword in her hand, open sword. So sword means readiness to fight. Similarly, in France, it was Statue of Liberty. It was Christian Marigny, a popular Christian name. Christian Marigny's statues were erected on every public places. Later on, her pictures were marked on the coins and stamps. And she stood for republic, wearing a red cap, that is revolution, red cap. Then breast-pressed eagle, German Empire, broken chain, freedom. And similarly, such icons and symbols were adopted so as to develop a feeling of nationalism among the people. While seeing these pictures, while seeing these icons and symbols, people could identify themselves with all these things. Liberal hopes, readiness to peace. In one of the picture, Germania is shown guarding the Rhineland. Rhine, that is a militarized area of Germany. She is holding a sword and she is guarding the Rhineland. In another picture, there is fallen Frankfurt, because when Frankfurt Parliament failed, they picturized it, fallen Frankfurt. So all these images came up. So these were visualizing the nation, so that nation become a reality in the minds of the people, so that people identify themselves with nation and other abstract ideas, so that they could develop it, so that they could fight for it. So these are your topics for today, up to NCERT page 22. Prepare your notes. We will meet again in the next lecture. We will discuss about some other facts of that time, about nationalism, imperialism and Balkan issues. Till then, it is a very goodbye from me.